Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. Faye and I are back as we discuss Bleach the Movie, Memories of Nobody, directed by Noriyuki Abe. In Karuka Town, unidentifiable spirits begin appearing en masse. While attempting to deal with these strange souls, Ichigo Kiyosaka and Ruko Kuchiki meet Senna, a mysterious Shinigami who wipes out most of them. Senna refuses to answer any questions, so Ichigo is forced to follow her, while Rukaya tries to find out what's going on. Welcome to the world of Bleach.
Thank you very much. I have no idea what's going on here.
Yeah, the movies they're kind of on a bit. I think you need like I said, read the first 9 volumes or the live action movie. I think was if you're new to the series, at least watch the movie. The movie will give you it all in a nutshell and jump up a few bits. But I don't know. It's a pretty simple premise of a story anyway. It's not expecting you to know everything.
I'm going to say I started watching it and it's like, nope, I've got no idea what's going on. But it only took me about what, half an hour to get up to speed on everything. Because it's like it's pretty much when the film starts out, it explains everything that's going on and like the hierarchy and who's who and what person's supposed to be doing what.
Yep. So basically what it is, it's all about ghosts moving on to the afterlife. So you're living a normal, happy life, blah blah blah. You die, you move on to heaven or hell, wherever you need to go. All said and done, tied up in a neat little bow. Where it goes wrong is when you don't move over and you become a thing called a hollow, which is basically it's not quite a possession. It's almost like an empty soul because they eat the souls of the living. Something goes wrong, they can't cross over, and the body, disappears. But the hollow is like it's not even fully animated. It's not the person it once was. It becomes morphs into some sort of creature.
Hmm.
You get all different types, and the longer the hollow stays in the world, the less of the humanity it holds. So to start off, they're still maintain their human visage, but the longer they stay in the mortal realm without passing over, then they turn into monstrosities because essentially they become hungry, and the only sustenance they can find are human souls. So we have this organization known as the Soul Society. They are. It's strange because it's meant to be souls that have already crossed over, who take on the mantle of a soul reaper.
Yeah.
But you have this idea of hierarchies, as in lineages and dynasties, of families, of long traditions of being soul reapers. I don't think we ever meet them in the mortal realm before the Passover, but there's this sort of idea that, brothers, sisters, fathers, sons, pass down the line. But it's happening in the mortal realm as well. So, like, chosen families automatically become a soul reaper. So it's a very select, very tight knit group.
I see. So yeah, that explains a lot. That explains a lot.
Yeah. So enter Ichigo. This is, he's established now, but it was purely accidental. Ruka, his sort of teammate, she was battling a soul which came for his family.
Yeah.
And tried to take one of his sisters. So when she appeared, just doing her duty, not out of any friendship or loyalty, just what to do. She nearly got defeated by this hollow, and she passed her Soul Reaper power onto Ichigo. And then Ichigo became a Soul Reaper as a human, which is unheard of. The living aren't meant to have this power or even be aware of the other world. The problem is that it became, but he couldn't give it back. It became part of him. So Ruka had to go and recharge and get her powers back. She was stuck in the mortal realm for a while till it got sorted out. But Ichigo literally couldn't give the power back to her. She thought she was lending it to him or something, to basically take care of the soul, the hollow. So what you ended up with is Ichigo's now a Soul Reaper, but he's also a living human, which completely upsets the balance. Ruka lost a lot of face, and status.
Yeah.
Happened. Her brother tried to kill Ichigo, but it didn't work out that way. So basically, Ruka got her abilities back another way, but Ichigo has remained a Soul Reaper while still being human. And this has been the whole theme of the story. Things have went on, but they still, after all this time, don't accept him. But we see in this movie, there's still that bit of grudging respect because at the end of the day, he is a heroic character. If that makes sense. When it comes down to it, he'll put himself out. He'll step up, and he doesn't worry about the politics of the thing. He just
Honestly, he definitely wears his mantle of lead character well.
Mhm.
Because while everybody else is umming and ahhing, he's the first one to jump in there.
Yeah, it just gets stuck in, and if you're part of a chattering class, and it's all about the ritual and stuff, and basically like civil servants, when you actually have somebody from the private sector come into like the civil service, the dynamic instantly changes.
I've got to be. There is a lot of politics in this anime.
It's meant to be. It's the Soul Society are souls. It's like a civil service. It's a status position in the afterlife that they hold, and it's deemed great honor. And the dispatching of the hollows is almost, I wouldn't even say pest control, but it's they do enough to maintain their status, but they're not interested in humanity either. They see humans as beneath them, the living. And their society's built up, which we see here. It's it's almost like an alternate universe crossing over. Like they've built up an entire society themselves, and they're immortal. But their immortality, obviously this goes a great. When we talk about gods and stuff, goes higher than them. The only reason they get to maintain their society is they still have to carry out the duties, which they almost begrudgingly do. So, of course, somebody like Ichigo who turns up, who's very black and white, right and wrong, and wants to do the right thing. But he's also still a youngster, he's still a young lad, still in school. It just completely upsets the apple cart.
I'm going to have to watch this series, aren't I?
It's a decent enough series. It's actually, there's worse out there. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I read the first 9 books of the
worse
anime.
out there.
But he's still making dopey mistakes. Like we're seeing this anomaly now. We don't know fully what it is, but we see that the portal between the living world and the Soul Society's world has opened up, and we see this whole like command station, which is actually very high tech for the Soul Society. So they've kind of moved on a bit with the world. They're almost like feudal Japan. Still that sort of era, but
Yeah,
they've moved on with technology.
I wasn't quite sure where it was going with that.
It's letting us see that they've actually, like, they've almost moved into the 20th century, where the human world's in the begrudgingly being dragged into the 20th century.
Yeah,
where the human world's obviously in the 21st century. It's them. They can't just live in their neat little bubble because there's more going on. The world's become more complex, so they need to evolve, and their societies evolve too. So they're not just one family anymore. But yeah, you just see the disdain they have for humanity. It's more like this is an inconvenience when this portal opens up and they don't know quite what's happening. But they do not care about humanity. It's only a duty they have to perform to maintain their status.
It's so nice to know we've got people who care looking after us, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. That's
great.
But I think that's the point of Ichigo's character. He shines a light. He holds a mirror up to them. But with any society, that is slow to change and slow to move. It's gonna, I mean, he's not going to achieve it all in 5 minutes. It's a lifetime of deeds to let the sort of ideas trickle, which is fair enough. But yeah, we got these new souls appear just like an en masse around the place, something we haven't seen before. I don't like his swordness.
You don't?
It looks like a giant kitchen knife. It's not his normal sword.
Huh. See, that's it. That's the only one I know, because it's like one of a channel I watched recently made it. As I actually took a big chunk of metal and forged it out. That's the only one. All the pictures I've seen of him, that's the only sword I've seen him carrying. But he has he has like the long black katana as well. As I saw in that. What's his normal sword look like?
Hang on, I've got it. I will do the Discord thing. Oh, I don't know. It's not going to show up, is it? I don't know if it's going to do the... Oh, it is. Right, okay, there you go.
Scored! Woohoo!
So that's what his sword's meant to look like. But in this, it just looks like a giant kitchen knife.
Damn, that's a weird looking sword.
Yeah, that's the whole point. It's humongous, it's oversized, it's ridiculous.
What's he fighting? Horses? Jeez. But it's like I'm looking. I did an image search and there's lots of pictures and with lots of different weapons.
Yep. But it's sort of iconic sword. It's more of a flat blade.
The video I was watching, it's like the guy who was hammering it out was like, "This is a really easy sword to make because it's basically just a big kitchen knife." So yeah, I'll have to post that. I'll find that video out and post it.
Oh, is that armory guy? He does all the swords and stuff from movies and that, and he made like He-Man's sword and all, and
yeah, it's kind of like there's it's
Man at Arms or something he's called.
Yeah, it's a kind of like a spin-off channel. It's called That Works.
All right.
There used to be a channel called Baltimore Knife and Steel that used to do it, but two of the guys from that kind of split off and went on their own way. And they're kind of like, they're known for doing these ridiculously humongous sword builds.
Yeah, I think the one I watched back in the day was Man at Arms. And he did the anime ones and all, and like would get like the big bottles of water just to slice through them and stuff, and the ballistic gel and all.
Yeah, at the end of this one, they cut through a tree. It's not a very big tree, but they just hack straight through it with this thing.
The weight, sort of, I mean, it's not even. He's sort of just like, boof.
I wouldn't like to be hit with it because it is an actual sword that they make with a proper edge.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. But it was impressive, but it's kind of like the fact that the handle's just got like that bit of cloth wrapped around it. No. But yeah, but they've all got pretty much ridiculous weapons. They just look a bit more normal.
But is that not the fun of anime though? You just you don't even suspend disbelief. You just go, reality? Nah. Woof.
God,
we don't need that. We don't need that for these shows.
The Soul Reapers, they're fighting these like hideous monsters. The hollows. I don't think, are there any hollows in this one? I don't think there are. But it's like they're fighting these hideous hollows. So they need humongous, great, like out of proportion weapons to take these monsters down.
Well, they're almost metaphysical. It's a manifestation of their soul power. So it represents their character as much as being a functional weapon. So it's because this is all taking place on an alternate plane. Humans aren't even aware, apart from like the wind blowing or something, or a tree getting knocked over.
Yeah. Because I noticed in the first. Oh wait, that was a hollow. In the first fight, it's kind of like the actual battle. No one took any notes of it because it's like the monster itself was invisible when they took on their Soul Reaper forms. They were invisible to people. They just leave their bodies behind.
Well, that was one of the first points. Ichigo's still doing that.
Mm.
When you know, what I mean, he's just like, "Oh, I gotta go do this," and leaves his body behind. It's like you've just left a corpse that's going to cause trouble. Stop doing that.
It's only him who leaves his. But see, I'm learning stuff as we go on because it was kind of
manifest body.
the woman who's with him. It's like why doesn't anybody notice her body? Why is it always his?
Because she's already dead. She's passed over. So she's not actually part of the mortal. See, once again, it's right back to the beginning that she briefly became, I wouldn't say mortal, but she had a mortal body. She had to manifest one because she lost her Soul Reaper power because she gave it at the last minute to Ichigo because she was about to get killed. And Ichigo used it and saved his sister. So she had a moment where she could be seen by humanity, but she's dead. You know, she's passed on decades or centuries before. Like she's, it's not just a recent thing. So that's why you never really see her. Now she can, like Hellgirl, she can manifest and be visible for brief periods of time if needs be. She can use some of her powers to do that, but generally, no. This whole world. And there are sympathetic human characters. You know, we meet this sort of gang again. So there are humans that liaise with the Soul Society.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of this is just it's a secret battle that nobody knows about. And they aren't meant to know about. So humans don't go poking. But yeah, Ichigo that's a whole bone of contention. He's a flesh and blood living mortal with Soul Reaper powers. And it's not meant to be. But they've made him a member. That was one of the points I made. Is actually they've now made him a member of the Soul Society because he's no longer just an anomaly to be dealt with. He's too powerful. He's not going to go down without a fight, and he's earned respect over the time. So they've obviously begrudgingly let him in, but they still don't like him. Most of them.
I'm just reading up on him. I like the way he puts his occupation as substitute Shinigami.
Yeah, it's like he's just. Well, that's what it was. It was only meant to be for one fight. But things, you know, obviously Rikaya didn't know when you transfer your powers to Immortal, it sticks. Or it's his soul energy. You know, something went wrong. We don't know if this has been tried before. I don't think they've ever mentioned it. If they've tried it before with other people, and it's been able to be reversed quite simply. But this is, you know, this is where they're at.
What the heck? Started off in episode 1 at 15. Now he's 30.
Fair enough.
Wow.
I like that. That's the thing that always annoyed me about, you know, like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do him in high school again. Let's do him in high school again.
Yeah, because they just keep resetting it, don't they? Apparently he's married. He's got a kid. He's married. He has a young son. Grief.
Like I said, I'd be tempted to pick up the manga again, but yeah, that'll have to wait if other things go on.
I was going to say, how many volumes will there be now?
God, you're a couple of box sets. I guess this is where you need your anime room. Catch up with something like the books alone needs their own shelf. They're not small.
I've got to find out. I must find out.
But yeah, this is where we meet these new entities. Obviously, they end up being called blanks, but nobody knows at that point. It's not something that's come up before.
I think
Hollow gets dealt with, but all of a sudden these things appear.
I think that's why they call them blanks, isn't it? Because no one actually knows what they are.
Yeah.
They just, it's like all they know is that they come from, what's it called? The Screaming Valley?
The Valley of Screams, yeah.
Valley of Screams. I knew it was something like that.
But somehow,
I've some terrible news for you.
what's that?
There's 74 volumes of Bleach.
Well, that's still double digits.
Only just.
What is it? You have 3 volumes, so divided by 3. That's 60.
I'm going to say they do some that are based. They do 3 in 1 editions, which is like 3 of the regular ones in 1 book. So like the first one's like chapter 1 to 25.
Yeah, I can see that working.
Wow. Yeah, but it'd be a bit cheaper than them.
Too much stuff to buy.
All this stuff.
And then to find the time to read it as well.
Yeah, this is. I used to take them to work with me. People used to give me weird sideways glances, but oh well. I'm okay with that.
It's like, you do you. You watch your soap operas. I'll do my thing. Thank you very much.
Too damn right.
I hate that about normies. Just because you don't do what they want to do.
No, but we are normies. It's the other ones who are weird.
There's just more of them. Is that what it is?
Mm.
No, but you see that if you, I don't care what everybody does. Just don't bore me about it. It's like people try to talk to me about football and stuff. My eyes just instantly glaze over.
Ah, soccer. Just call it soccer. They'll stop talking to you after a while.
Just find them out. No, but there's a match today. That's nice. Who do you support? Have I given any indication that I'm interested?
Who do you support?
But they still go through the conversation. I mean, they watch you like going, "Oh my god, am I going to have to sit and listen to this?" They see you visibly lose interest and still go, "What team do you support?" You're like,
that's just it. It's like when your eyes glaze over, they just like they know they can talk faster because you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's all. But if you do something they don't like, oh, you're the worst in the world.
Oh no, they walk away. You just follow them and start talking louder. Yeah.
I'm not into converting people. I don't care. Do your thing. Enjoy what you enjoy. But leave me alone to enjoy mine.
That's all right. If you actually sit around and read manga in public, the air quotes, normies won't come anywhere near you. It's great. It's really great.
I'm the sort of person that would get like I'd find the other weirdo who would like latch on to me because I just attract that sort. I tend to try and be as non-committal as possible in public, like the grey man, and just blend in the background because I attract weirdos.
Yeah.
But anyway, we meet Senna. She turns up, takes care of these blanks, and yeah, we've no idea what's going on here. This is all new.
See, I thought she was kind of like a foreign Shinigami or someone from like another country because nobody knew who she was. Because I wasn't quite aware yet that there was like this like overreaching kind of like government almost that was controlling the Shinigami. Are they just something that appears in Japan or are they worldwide?
Well, I think this is obviously based in Japanese folklore. So it's like a Western thing doing a thing about heaven and hell. You just assume, you don't go to other countries or involve it. If it's set in the region, it's set in the region. I don't get into that sort of thing. So I just accept. No, if I was like watching a possession movie or something with exorcism.
Yeah.
Okay, be set in the West. Blah blah blah. Okay, that's what that is. Okay, that's the folklore and stuff behind it. Cool. So when it's set in Japan, okay, that's the folklore and stuff set behind it. Cool. I don't really. I was having this conversation last night on the Horrific Tales celebration stream.
Yeah.
I'm sick of this homogenization. I'm sick of this idea that everything has to be for everybody and nobody's allowed to localize. You know, the whole point, what makes the world interesting is our differences, and that there's completely different societies with different culture, and you can have a look at it. You don't have to live it. You don't have to have their way of life, but you can have a look at it and be interested. I think I've said I would not last in Japanese society. Their whole work culture and stuff, you know, just being tied to a job, almost slave labor, and that's your whole life. That's not me. You know, I don't even fit into London culture. And that's all they're about. They just go to work, they come home, they go to sleep, they go to work, and that's their entire life. All their friends are their work friends. And I just can't be bothered. So I can appreciate any culture. Doesn't mean I have to live it. Even our own here, there's aspects of it I can't be arsed with. Like, oh, you going to the football? Did you see the soap operas last night? Did you watch the latest reality thing? You know, on what planet am I in that world?
It's like, no, I didn't, because I was watching giant robots beat the shit out of each other.
I haven't seen a good giant robot movie in ages.
There's a new Gundam out that's quite good.
All right. I might have to break out robot jocks again. That's all.
We could do with more kind of like Western giant robots, because I honestly, I think Robot Jocks is one of the best ones. The first Pacific Rim was all right, but the second one was just kind of like,
the second one was awful. That smacked of desperation and spin-off. It was trying so hard to be legitimate, and it was shit.
There's I think it was Netflix that did it. There's an anime version of Pacific Rim called damn it, what's it called? Into the Black, something like that.
Yeah, I was set in Australia.
Yeah,
that
was better than the second one.
Yeah, I had a bit of teeth to it and a story. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. But yeah, that movie was fucking.
So you're not allowed to do story now in case it offends someone.
Yeah, don't show too much competency. Yeah, but anyway, we've got this whole thing now. Senna's appeared on the scene, and then Soul Society being the Soul Society. What do we do with it? We'll have to kill it. What? Why does this thing exist? We don't know it. It's not part of our hierarchy. You know, it's like the second time in this period of a human lifespan this has happened to their whole society. It just rocks their world.
Senna, though, she's lovely, but God, she's annoying.
She doesn't have an off switch. She's harmless, you know, but just an overexcited child, so to speak.
I don't mind the fact she hasn't got an off switch. It's just the fact that she seems to be dialed up to 11.
Yeah.
That is, it's, oh, good God. Oh.
Yeah, I'm dealing with some people like that lately, and it's exhausting.
Woo, I'm doing this and no one can stop you. Stop doing that. All right, I'll stop doing that. But instead of that, I'm going to do this. Woo!
It's like, just can you go from 11 to 5, please? Just give me a break, you know. And,
it's 8, 9, 9 would be nice. But she's kind of one of those characters that grows on you, because you kind of realize the reason she's like that is she's just curious about everything.
It's sort of that mad scientist, you know, mad genius type thing of, oh, this is new. Oh, this is new. Oh, this is new. Oh, wonder what this does.
What's this? What's this? What's this? Bang! Oh, that does that.
Yeah, but we've got a bit more of a comedy element with this one. This is, I think, one of the more lighthearted. This is normally quite a, because of the Soul Society the way they are, it's more of a stoic, you know, serious thing, even though there are comedic moments. But that's
I kind of felt that it was like it's like the stories it's like the stories split into two halves. It's like the Soul Society and like the part set on Earth are really, really disjointed, because it's like you say, it's like the one set on the Soul Society is like ultra super serious.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there's way more humor. There's way more humor in the sections set. We'll call it in the Waking world, in the real world.
But it's meant to be. I think it's making the point of what the Soul Society. You know, what I mean, it's what it's about, and the fact that these worlds shouldn't collide is going to be a disaster. You know, it's metaphorically priming you that these worlds should never meet. They should always be separate. And it's all part of the yin and yang in the universe, you know, and it's all about balance and, you know, maintaining, which is very heavy Japanese philosophy, isn't it?
It is. But I kind of like it because it makes sense in this.
Yeah, they're showing it, you know, they show the Soul Society being the absolute extreme of order, rigidness, hierarchy, you know, all the things, tradition, lineage, all that stuff in the Soul Society is dialed up to 11.
More things dialed up to 11.
And then you've Senna on the other side. She's dialed up to minus 11.
It's
Just an absolute agent of chaos.
She's like a curious child, but then again, how old is she? I mean, she's when you first meet her, she's dressed as a high school student. So that makes her what, 14 at the youngest?
Yeah, but she's not even that old when you realize how she came into being. She's literally minutes or days old.
Spoilers. But yeah, she's it kind of does feel like during the scene where they're together, Ichigo's met his match. It's quite obvious who's in control of the situation, and it's not him.
Yeah, but he used to be the agent. That's the funny part about it. You know, if you've seen the series, he was the agent of chaos. He was the Senna back in the beginning. Now he's the adult, the responsible one.
How he's matured in those first 117 episodes.
But I like to see that though. That's nice. Because there's nothing more frustrating than like hundreds of episodes and nobody ever grows older or progresses.
Character progression. It's something that we don't have much of these days.
Well, we don't even have characters these days.
No, because it's like if you get a TV series, if you get a lot of TV series these days, it's kind of like no time seems to pass between the start of one series, the end, and then the beginning of a second series. No one seems to get any older. All the characters stay the same.
That's the thing, because like one of my favorite TV shows back in the day was Babylon 5.
Understandable.
But you actually watch characters get older. You watch them progress. You watch them move. And that was 5 seasons.
Yeah.
You watch, what do you call that, flipping Star Trek, and nobody ages or changes or progresses or grows. They all remain this rigid holding pattern. Nothing happens. What was the other one that was good? Farscape, I like that.
Farscape was good. Farscape was awesome.
You actually saw a character progression there. Can't remember her name, the Enforcer. She had the best redemption arc, you know, sort of character arc in the series.
Yeah, I agree with
John
that.
was just, you know, he was always like Buck Rogers, you know, man out of time.
What happened to all these great sci-fi series and fantasy series that we used to have? Or is it just that we're not allowed them anymore?
Nepotism. Friend of a friend gets into the studio. Friend of a friend gets hired. Friend of a friend, son or daughter gets hired, and not just as the actors, but in the production teams and all. And this is what happens of decades worth of that buddy system and not actually meritocracy. And then they stop. There's no new talent. It's all, you'll always find anybody now has got in because somebody's introduced them. They're a son or a daughter or a relative of somebody already there. And this has been going on There was this what do they call it? I only watched one episode and that was enough. The old time of Encounter TV. It was back in the was it 90s? Hollywood Brats or something they were called.
Oh God.
One of them was Danny DeVito's daughter. Do you remember that series?
I don't think I watched it.
Like I said, I saw one episode. I don't know whether it was the beginning, middle. You know, it was just one episode that happened to be on, and I watched it. And the writing was on the wall back then. Basically, what they'd done is all the stars that had made the industry what it was from the 80s.
Yeah.
Their kids are these pampered, self-entitled, useless oxygen thieves. And I sort of saw it back then that what are these people going to do with their lives? And then you realize that they're going to get fake jobs by their parents who want them to do something. And one of them already had a kid, and she was like 20, you know, as in just randomly had a kid, and she could barely look after herself.
Jesus.
And like if she had been in the council estate, you know what I mean, she'd be living like absolute crap.
Yeah.
But because daddies or mummies or daddies millions, you know, were keeping them going. But that's what happened. These people, then this was back in the 90s, I saw this, have been put into jobs that they do not like. They're not even fit to sweep floors because they're that inept. But they've been put in because they need something to do. And then that's spiraled on and on and on, and that's why we've got what we've got. You can call it all sorts of words and terms and whatever the fluff is, but it's basically nepotism is what has caused the entertainment industry to be the way it is. It's not a slow process or not a fast process. This has happened over decades. It's just we've reached the end of the line with it, where we've seen the output.
Mm. Thank God we still got anime.
But you see the moves being made there too.
Yeah.
The only difference is, at least, a lot of companies are pushing back. They've twigged on what's happening. They've seen the Western society, so they've not let it get taken over. So fair play to them, but it just takes one greedy bastard.
Yeah, but it's like
it just takes one link in the chain to get broken, and that starts the avalanche.
They tried to push DEI into anime, and a few companies kind of went, yeah, okay, we'll try it, but they only tried it for a while, and then it was like, no, okay, we're not interested. No, you've got to put DEI into your anime to make it more approachable to Western orders. Every single anime studio turned around and said, hang on a minute.
You're cutting out there.
Oh, sorry. Am I? Oh, what's my internet doing? Oh God.
Yeah,
it could be my headset. It could be my headset. Actually, it started to rattle. But it's like
no, your connection was starting to wobble. Or you got the bit that said, "Oh, you must have us." And
yeah, you must have DEI to make your anime like more damn, what was the word I used?
Palatable to the
yes, more to Western audiences, and they basically as literally as one turned around and said, "But we're not making this for Western audiences."
Yeah, that's right. You know, you got to make it. You got to be true to yourself and make it. And if you tell stories are universal.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what you are. If you tell an effective story, if you have relatable characters, people will relate. But that's once again, that's the fundamentals has been lost, and this is just to hide mediocrity.
Yeah,
they're just words. Once again, it's nothing to do with that. It's just nepotism. Oh, I need a job for my friend who's a bit shit and can't write or can't act or can't do this, so I'm going to use this as an excuse.
Yeah, but it's like
the localizers were the big one. They couldn't even translate without putting their own words.
Yeah, that's one of the things that push DEI out.
Yeah,
the fact that it's like the it's like this Bleach is created to tell a story. Mm-hmm. Yeah, by changing what the people say into something that follows someone else's agenda, they are changing that story to something that it wasn't created for.
Yeah, because if I started putting words like
Mm.
Democrat, Republican, Labour, Conservative, President, if I started putting Western words and not the actual translation, if you use like state instead of prefecture,
Yeah.
you're like, what are you doing?
No,
We know what the English word for that is. We've watched enough Japanese material. We know it's not that. What are you doing? And you pick up on it.
Yeah,
Why are
it's
you
like,
mentioning these parties when they don't exist in that country? Why are you putting this shit in?
yeah, it's like Hellgirl, when we watched Hellgirl. And it's like, whoa, in the one with the wife who saw something she shouldn't have in the afternoon. We were picking on her
Yes,
girl at school.
yes.
It's like we're having pot stickers tonight. The hell's a pot sticker? It's like, pot sticker. I had to go around Google for 20 minutes before I found out that a pot sticker is actually a gyoza. Why didn't they just call it gyoza and have done with it? But it's just kind of like it's like the people who translate these things have to remember that it's like Japan is basically an alien culture with so many things, no offense, with so many things that are like different to the way we do things in the West. It's like they talk in a completely different way. It's like they're not shy at coming forward to say that something is bad. It's like they are incredibly intolerant of foreign people. This is why like the tourist industry in Kyoto has like totally gone down the tubes, because they don't want people like bursting into their building, into their shrines and snapping pictures and everything like that, grabbing geisha off the street so they can do selfies with them. It's like God, they're talking about banning foreigners from looking at cherry blossom because they shake the trees so that the petals fall off so they can have nice pictures. It's
that's sensible.
But it's kind of like it's a totally different it's a totally different mindset. It's a totally different way of life out there. The way people react to certain things out there is completely different from the way we react over here. And it's like by changing that at like a language level, or putting in kind of like, I don't know,
well, something simple like I said, saying state instead of prefecture.
It's like people putting their own ideologies in there and forcing them into the text of the anime, forcing it into the Discord, pulls away from the original story. And that's the thing that was happening. They were actually like they were basically changing. Like, it's almost like they by putting their own agendas in there, they were literally changing the subjects that anime and manga are about.
Yeah, because they can't leave it alone. Because
that's why certain firms had to sack all of their translators.
Yeah, and then that's why you hit up out of a job, But at least they're brave enough to do that.
Yeah, I'm glad they were.
Yeah, because this is escapism for me, and this is exploring another culture.
So I want my anime.
I don't want it westernized.
Yeah, I want it as raw as it can come.
Yep, like changing the word shimiganzi to something Western, like soul, or not even soul, but spirit, or ghost. It's like, no, it's shimiganzi is a particular. It's not quite a demonic force. It's something else. It's specifically Japanese.
Yeah,
it forces you then to go and think about and look up what it is and find out stories and get interested.
Yep, it literally translates out as God of Death.
Mm-hmm. I think it was Death Note that tried to do that.
It's like, God, it's one of these things that makes me grind my teeth down. It really is. It's just kind of like, no, leave it alone. It's good as it is. You don't need to fiddle with it. You don't need to change these words.
You would be watching it.
It's like right. It's like it's okay. It's like people may not understand what what a gyoza is, but it's like they can always look it up. The little dumplings that you
Yeah.
boil and then you fry. They're awesome. It's like people can look it up. People aren't stupid. You don't have to you don't have to translate all the words. It's okay to leave some of them of the art. You don't have to dumb down what they're saying. People will work it out.
But the people that do this aren't talented. The reason they latch on is because they're frustrated creatives. They don't have a first. Well, they're not creatives at the start because they're creatives that just get on with it. But they want the fame and they want the status associated with being a creative, but they don't have the ability. So that's why they attach themselves to these sort of properties and then try and put their own spin. And then they think, like, it's like these dipshit directors, no credits to their name, and then they're going to go, I'm going to do this in my vision, as they do another rehash, remake, reboot, prequel, requel shite.
Oh boy, the same film.
But I'm going to make it in my vision. It's like, you're there to translate from page to screen and make it look good.
There's terrible rumors out there that they're going to reboot Star Wars.
I don't care. I genuinely, they can reboot it all they want. I won't be watching. Nobody's going to be watching. Nobody cares about that franchise. They're totally making a horror, once again, let's make a horror version because horror fans are stupid and they'll watch anything. And I bet you freaking Chris is going to try and make me watch that when it comes out. And that might end our friendship because if he pushes too hard, like, no, I'm closing the channel down, done. Forget it.
And anything but that. Yeah, but think of the crazy theories he could come up with. The fact that you're going to watch it is probably the craziest theory he's ever come up with.
Yeah, that's he's actually going to talk.
Bless him. You know he's listening. Bless him.
Yeah. I just know this conversation is coming up. But then again, how many projects have they announced and shelved and sacked people and
Jesus, far too many. I know there's.
It needs to go on the shelf for 50 years. Put it on the shelf for 50 years. Close the building down. And then 50 years, maybe reopen it again and do a reboot.
One thing for Star Wars that I am interested in is they're bringing out a third series of Star Wars Visions, which has kind of interested me because it's like Japanese studios putting their twist on it. So it's going to be something different.
Don't care. They just need to not make anything.
Yeah,
it's going up. Like I said, put it all on the shelf, lock the doors. Come back in 50 years. Maybe
Star Wars needs putting on the shelf. Anything Marvel needs putting on the shelf.
DC needs to be buried. DC needs a big hole dug in the ground and just everything put in there and filled over. Never to be seen again.
Everything Supers needs to be put on the shelf. Star Trek is on the shelf, but it's not been on the shelf long enough to be dragged back at. My God. I'm going to say something now that's totally out there. It may pass above like the average Star Wars, Marvel kind of like Star Trek film watchers' minds. Why don't we make something original?
Don't swear like that.
Original. No one can stop me. Oh God, now I'm going to get banned online. YouTube's going to ban me now. I've said something.
Committing heresy in the world of mediocrity.
But it's like.
They don't. Once again, nepotism. They don't have the people there.
I'm going to say if the Japanese film industry and the Japanese anime industry can come out with all this original work, considering how much smaller it is than like Hollywood.
But that's what it's all broken up into smaller studios, and they're all independent. They're all competition.
Bollywood, Korea. The Chinese film industry. I don't care what people say about the Chinese. They put some really good films.
Don't slag off Hong Kong cinema. I grew up in that stuff.
Mr. Vampire.
That's my new. If I get bored with horror, that's the new channel I'm starting up. By the way,
the entire Mr. Vampire series, some of the greatest comedy horror ever made. Whether it's comedy horror or not depends if you watch it subbed or dubbed. If you watch it subtitled, it's one of the most serious horror films you will ever see. With the occasional laugh at it. If you watch the dubbed version, they've totally gone for the laughs.
I never watched dubbed. Dubbed is horrible.
Mr. Vampire.
It was like even the old Bruce Lee movies, like you just watch them in the subtitles, it's much better.
Yeah, I agree. Anything like that. It's like I have watched some anime series in dubbed. Helsing I watched in dubbed because Helsing is totally set in England. And whereas in the Japanese version, they're like chasing cars up some random highway. In the English version, it's the M6. So it's like culture in it, you know. But yeah, the subtitled version is way better in anything.
I remember, do you know when I first back in the day, Macros Plus?
God,
That's where I
Macross,
experimented with both dubbed and subbed and realized
Macross
subbed
Plus.
was better. Like I watched the movie, watched the series, and yeah, I actually went back and did it in the Japanese subs. And oh god, when was I? Like 19 or something back in?
It's like there was a period. There was a period in the early noughties, in like between like about 2000, 2010, 2015. Something happened in like the anime dubbing industry, and they actually went pretty. They actually like it was almost like they were hiring voice actors who cared, and instead of being it's like, oh no, the monster is coming through the door. What shall we do? Like, oh my god, no, the monster's coming through the door. Jesus, what are we gonna do? Quick! They actually like stepped up to the roles, and it's like recently they've just kind of like fallen off the ladder.
Yeah, it's these robotic, monotone Southern Californian, almost borderline TikTok voice.
Oh my god, they're coming through the door. You're all.
Yeah,
But it was really good, and it was actually worth watching because it's like you'd watch the original, and it's like you'd watch the original, then you'd watch the dubbed, and the actual take you took coming from the dubbed would be exactly the same as it would from the original, and they just kind of let it go.
Yeah. No, what was one recently? Because I couldn't get it in subbed. Ermenhard, the blacksmith of the devil, set in medieval Germany,
Full of South
fucking
American.
Southern Californian.
Whoa.
Oh my god! Say as the dubbed over the top, like, oh, piss off! You're telling me it can't be translated by, and then you realize it's the industry. It's all controlled from there.
Something like that. I'd rather watch it raw. Because it's like German isn't that far away from English that I wouldn't be. I've watched plenty of war films. I'd be able to work it out.
Yeah, but watching that thing dubbed was absolutely horrible.
It's the worst thing about dubbed film. It's not so bad for anime. The worst thing about dubbed live action that absolutely drives me insane is lip sync. Don't ask me why. It's one of my pet peeves that will make my hair burst into.
Do you know where I've noticed that recently? Music videos. See the number of shite. I know we're going off. Guess what, folks? We're on a tangent.
We're off on a tangent. Welcome to HORRORific. It never happens. It's like that.
First time ever.
Right, be careful with your words, my friend, because you're going to trigger me, and I will.
Music videos. The dubbing, because obviously the dub, you know, the music plays that, but see the number of shite music videos are out there that they're not even remotely like trying.
What's worse, and you see this out there now, is when you go to watch a musician live, and when they're singing live, it doesn't even line up with the
flaming music. What was that? It was some R&B star.
Because even live, they're just kind of like lip syncing to a recording.
There was one. It was last year, I think. It's probably not the only, but some R&B star, right? Gets into it with a fan during a concert.
Yeah.
So she stops, pulls the mic away, and starting arguing with one of the, front row or something.
And the song keeps going.
The song still go with her lyrics, and you're like, "Oh my god!"
I'm gonna have to reach for the ginger nuts in a minute, so I've got something to chew at. But it's like right, Woodstock a couple of years ago they were doing it. Yeah. Shirley Bassey, she's what 200 odd. walks
still
onto the stage in their glam wellies. Totally does it live.
Hold on, is Woodstock doing it like a regular thing? I thought only
Not
got
not,
it.
not Woodstock, Glastonbury. Sorry,
Oh, that's.
I was
You couldn't
I,
pay
I,
me
was-
to watch that shit.
I was still thinking. No, it was on the news. I was still thinking. I was still thinking Southern California for some reason.
All right. Oh, talking of absolute tragedies, I still can't. It still hurts me in my soul to this day. Judas Priest getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Have you seen that?
It's like I can't
I'm just
believe
like
I
Rob
can't
Halford.
I can't believe that such like an epic, such an epic band as Judas Priest sold out their soul. I am.
So the wheel on fucking what's her face Dolly Parton. You know, she's done like one song,
Yeah.
and of course that's fucking trot her out, and a bunch of fucking normies. Like I couldn't even tell you who they are. All fucking these random pop stars, and Rob Halford dialing himself back so he doesn't embarrass her. And I'm like, mate, you're better than all these twats. What are you doing?
It's
And that
Judas Priest, Jesus.
I died a little inside.
Well, that's it. I'm binning my Judas Priest CDs.
Do you know when you actually feel like part of your soul getting cut out and torn away?
Yeah, yeah.
I just going,
So
lads.
literally every morning when I look outside.
It's like, yeah, it's like, lads, are you skint? Bring out a double. But you know what I mean? I'm skint myself, but if you're that desperate, I'll chuck you a few quid. You don't need to do this.
See, it's got now I've learned that. Now I've learned that because like
Yeah, but
Judas
don't ever
Priest,
watch. Okay, now you've learned that exists and you feel the hurt.
it's
Don't
like
ever watch it.
I've got more. I'm like Judas Priest, Dolly Parton. I've got more respect for Dolly Parton at this moment, mainly because she appeared in 95, and I love that film.
She's one note and she's played it her entire career, and she'll do it because that's all she has. And
She does. It's like I don't know if I can join in this calling of Dolly Parton. I don't know if I can call in this calling of Dolly Parton. I don't mind Dolly. I don't mind. I don't mind.
She's just
I
had the one
don't.
note and she's
Yeah,
done it her entire
I
career.
don't mind country and western music, but that's my dad's fault because my dad was a massive country and western fan.
Oh, so was my mum. I'd like
It's like
the whole record there full.
It's like thank God you weren't a child in my house, or you'd have to have coped with me dad and my mum duetting "Islands in the Stream."
No, I grew up the same because that was like, you know, every working class club, everything's done in a country and western, you know, everywhere. You couldn't get away from it.
We used to have
But
to
what I mean is just Dolly Parton.
show.
She's a one-hit wonder,
She is.
and somehow she's just managed to still keep going. And I suppose fair play, minimum effort, maximum return. Do you know what I mean?
I actually, I don't think it's the songs that made Dolly Parton. I think it's Dolly herself, the person.
But like I said, when you've got Rob Halford holding back, so it's not embarrassing, and you're like, mate, why?
If anything, Dolly should have stepped
But what are they
up.
doing in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? What are they even doing associated with that? That used to be actually about rock. No, it's just fucking Normieville.
It's rock. Rock is something that you've really got to search for these days because it's like music. It's like most like genres of music. They've all kind of like ended up in the same grey goo. There's very little difference. Like rock, pop, punk. There's very little difference between them. But it's like I suppose if you want your music to sell, it's got to appeal to like the normies.
When did everybody become? I was having this discussion last night, and I'm trying to advocate for independent voices. Like, come on, don't give up. And Tony's like going, yeah, but that's where it is. I'm like, mate, you're not helping here.
I honestly think that's up.
It's like, encourage people to to step outside.
It's like oh, it's not worth arguing about like differences in things like that because if you do, they'll just slag you off on the Facebook and all their like imaginary electronic friends or thumbs it up and it'll vindicate them and they'll get louder. So we'll just kind of like tug the forelock and bend the knee. I sounded like Brian Cox then. That was worrying.
No,
It's like it's just see that like this again is one of the reasons why I am an anime fan, because there are so many anime there where you go, oh, this character's absolutely brilliant. Oh, fuck you, the dead. It's they just they take. I mean, can you imagine?
Was that not why you were resistant to this show in the first place? Because you thought it was too normified?
That
You were resistant, weren't you?
I am
franchise?
one of these people who like, you have friends going like, oh my god, you've got to watch this, it's amazing, it's incredibly and fantastic, this happens, that happens, all that happens, it's blue, it's green, it's purple, it's amazing, it's got all these and it's just kind of like, yeah, they're selling it too hard. Because it's like we added Heavenly Delusion to the list, and I just went, put a clip in, this is Heavy Delusion, it's got some good horror bits, we're adding it to the list. And it's kind of like the people just try and oversell things these days, and it's like, if like I was saying, if I want to watch something, I kind of want to go in with like the minimum amount of knowledge. I'm interested, having watched like Members of Nobody. I'm interested in what goes before, because I want to know more about the Soul Society. I want to find more about Ichiko and why have I got a name down as Ringo? It's not Ringo. Yeah, I want to know more about these. So it's like, right then, when I've got a quiet moment, when I've got a quiet moment, when there's not much on that I want to watch, or something that if I've got a quiet afternoon when I'm not doing anything, I can just sit down and start watching them at my own pace.
Yeah, and you do it in your terms. I'm all about that. I'm not about jumping on bandwagons or trend chasing. You know what I mean? If I like something, I like something. I'm not going to also let the fact that something becomes popular stop me.
Yeah, it's like somebody on the channel asked me the other day, like, what's your favorite anime? I can't pick one.
That's it. People ask me that all the time. What's your favorite horror movie? Like, it depends what mood I'm in.
I can't pick
House
one.
will be up there sometimes. Critters will be there sometimes. Nightmare on Elm Street's always a love, but it also, I remember the sequels, so it kind of goes.
The best bit about the original Nightmare on Elm Street was watching Johnny Depp explode. Quite downhill after that because he wasn't in any others. But yeah, and so, but it's like that's it. It's like if I'm into giant robots, I want to watch this. If I'm into like want some horror, I want to watch this. If I want to like bawl my absolute eyes out with the ugliest tears possible, Violet Evergarden. It depends what you want. You can't. You can't say, right then, no matter what mood I am, no matter what the weather is doing outside or what somebody has said to me, that, and you put your finger on it, is my favorite. It doesn't work like that.
No, because what was it? There's one night I was sticking on Evil Dead again, and then I just wasn't in the mood.
Yeah,
so I might click, off, and don't know what I did then afterwards. I just wasn't in the mood for going through a movie I've seen like 50 times.
Yeah. It's like there are like films and books and videos and things like that, computer games that are just like a tatty old sweater where you can just kind of like wrap it around you and just sit there for the afternoon, flicking through its pages or playing it or watching it. I've got, it's like, I can tell you what my least favorite anime is. Legend of the Overfiend. God, that was shit.
Yeah, that's why it's not on the list.
Oh God!
Again, borderline. It's just a mask for tentacle porn.
It's not. It's like right. It's
not even done well.
It's like you've only seen the cut version, haven't you?
What you mean the school corridor scene, or
the uncut version adds like another half an hour. I saw it at an anime convention. I'll never eat asparagus again.
Yeah, I'm not looking for it. I'm not going there.
It's like asks no question, and I won't tell you about it. Mind if you do ask questions, I'll just like plausible deniability.
Yeah, God, it was actually I first encountered it in the back of a VHS tape, which is for the porn. Somebody put it in there at the end.
Oh God. Oh gee, that's it. I need a biscuit. I want my moment.
Has Ginger let's go.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
But we back to back to this, which is actually I mean it's a good self-contained movie. You don't need to know everything, but if you want to learn more,
That's
you
it.
can go
By
and
the time we got, I mean, the film itself is more or less 90 minutes long.
yeah.
By the time I'd watched the first 20 minutes of it, I was pretty much up to speed on what. There's still got a few questions, but as far as the plot was concerned, as far as the people who were in it was concerned, I was pretty much up to speed.
Yeah, and that's good storytelling.
I don't mind that at all. It's like it's in the same. I think this could actually be one of those films where if you switch, if you walked in someone watching it halfway through, you'd be able to pick up on the story, because it explains itself and what's going on several times through its runtime. So like I say, it's a sign of good storytelling.
Yep, and the fact is, this is a new encounter, something they haven't done before, so they're able to use that as a vehicle to explain the hollows and how normally things happen, and then the fact that Cena was created, you know, there is residue of a souls known as a blank, but they gather, and this is almost like a phenomenon, a cycling phenomenon that happens throughout time and space, and it's never interrupted, and it's just part of.
And so
None of us are microbiologists, so we don't understand how ecosystems work fully. You know, if you remove this bit, how it changes, because you mightn't see the effects immediately.
Yeah.
So this is the ecosystem of
and I say it's like the valley of scream. I mean, it's like the valley of screams and the blanks. They're just part of the natural order. But it's like it builds. It's almost like it explains that it's like it builds up to like a certain almost like crescendo, and then it just collapses on itself.
But this has all happened hundreds and hundreds of times.
Yeah,
like I said, the world, both the Soul Society and the human world, don't notice because it just happens. But the antagonists, when we meet them, the band clan. The clan that were exiled from the Soul Society. We'll meet those guys.
They, to be quite honest, they did make me scratch my head a bit. Because I was like,
a wee bit OTT.
Particularly the guy with basically what's a multiple rocket launcher on his back.
Yeah. But do you know what was a really good scene with that? You saw how it was fueled.
Yeah, because I was like, that's how it works.
And that was brilliant. So we understand how the blanks were being utilized as
and the guy who gets his arm chopped off, spoilers, the way he rebuilds his arm.
Yep, but then again, that's messing with the natural order. The blanks are meant to wait until God, what do they call her?
I've got Shishigami, but it's not Shishigami.
The Shinjutsu.
That's the one.
Or Shinenju.
Yeah, because she's
the blanks wait. The Shinenju comes into being.
Yeah, and she's like she's almost like she's almost like an anchor, or she's almost like an anchor or a lightning rod for them. And that they through her they dissipate the Valley of Screams.
Yes, and then the Valley of Screams goes back into the mortal world, new birth. You know, and it's back to. Are the Japanese into reincarnation?
They're mostly Buddhists, so yes.
Yeah, so the idea of reincarnation, the recycling, and it's not quite Indian Buddhism, you know, it's or Tibetan. It's not that
slightly different.
It's not like the Dalai Lama.
Well, it's the thing. The thing is though, even though it's kind of like a plot line, which is. It's like it's a plot MacGuffin that is like deeply embedded in like the Japanese psyche, Japanese Buddhism, etc. It still feels fresh.
But but that's the thing. When it isn't a MacGuffin, when it's actually built on something, and you know that it's this is years of tradition and it's a particular lens. This is why I'm against homogenization. I don't want this to be westernized, and I don't want us to be whatever sized, and we're even in the Anglosphere, we're different cultures.
Yeah,
I don't want a Kiwi speaking the same as me and me having exactly, because like when I'm talking about the L, we find like the different terms for things. Great one was chili bin. Have you heard of a chili bin before?
What the heck is a chili bin?
Nice box scooter for drinks. You fill the cooler
Oh,
box.
so you went. You sound like you said chili, and I instantly went to the peppers.
Yeah, it was an episode of Wellington Paranormal. I had to replay that about 4 times, and I couldn't work out what they were saying. And then it was chili, chili cold bin,
Chili
and
as
I'm
in
like,
cold. Wow.
this is why we need. Because that makes the word more interesting. There's a new word, new context that I
Yeah.
was never familiar with.
Like,
I'm like, wow, there's something great. You do that, we don't. Fantastic. That's what makes you unique.
Yeah.
And the same as looking at this, we're seeing through, and not just that, but Shintoism and Buddhism. It's the Japanese version. We're not seeing it from Tibetan. If this was a Tibetan anime, if such a thing exists, we'd get it from that perspective. If it was Indian, it would get it from their perspective. What I mean? That's what makes things interesting, seeing it that way. And this is just scratching the surface. It's using modern storytelling and using modern society, but still has those roots. And it makes you interested. If you're anyway curious about the world.
Yeah.
If you just want flashy lights and swords, well, there's plenty of that too.
Oh yeah, I've got to say the fight scenes are great. I really enjoyed the fight scenes.
And then there's a bit where Tina we find a little kid, one of the hollows, Tomiya, and he's lost.
Oh yeah, because it's like, how do, in all these people, how do you identify a soul? They've got chains hanging out their chests, and I need to know more about that as well, actually.
Because the chain breaks. So when they're going to this is where, once again, the natural order of things, the chain is attached to the body, as that they're going to heaven, but it gets broken and they get left behind. So they don't pass over.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
So that's what it represents, is they're not being dragged to the afterlife. So the chain manifests because it's broken. They're a hollow because something's went wrong. They haven't just passed on.
No.
But that's what I mean. You look at it, you see it represented, you're like, oh, that's interesting. You want to learn more. And then I'm sure that is based off something. I'm sure that's based off mythology or folklore, religious texts. You can feel that there's something tangible there that if you wanted to study deeper, you could. That's your connection's going a bit. Don't know if you're speaking or not. Oh, yep. Thought that was going to happen. You see the little bar, it goes whoop. Gotta love technology. But yeah, there's loads in this that makes you just go, oh, there's something new. I want to learn about that. Oh, there's a little reference to something. I know that's come from a deeper lore or level of storytelling. And yeah, I like the Bleach series. I know it's one of the more popular ones, a bit like Demon Slayer. Are we back?
I'm back.
I'm just saying, this, I like this, even though it's like, I know it's one of the more popular ones, but it hasn't sold out. It hasn't just made itself generic.
No, it hasn't.
And even I like Demon Slayer too, even though that's another like popular one. It's a bit more Saturday morning cartoon anime, but there's enough bits in it to make it interesting.
It's the story.
Oh God, you're having proper problems. Yeah, he's just my bubble again. I don't know. Do you see this on the? There's a few who's watching there. I don't know. You probably don't see our little bars get up and down, or the strength of the connection. Probably just see the names.
I don't. I'm in the Talk Studio screen at the moment. You're the only one there. Can you? So I'm surprised you can hear me.
All right. No, you were sort of dipping out of it, but I'm just saying the likes of Demon Slayer, for example, it's popular. It's a bit more Saturday morning cartoon, but there's enough there that makes it enjoyable. Bleach series hasn't really tried to do anything apart from what it says in the tin. You know, it's stayed true to its own.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm just like I say, I'm gonna have to watch more Bleach. I'm gonna have to watch way more Bleach.
We're back.
I think we're back.
I just got kicked out.
Well, I was gonna say I can't hear. I can't hear you in studio, but I can hear you through. I can hear you through Discord. I can hear Discord. I can hear you through YouTube.
Yeah, I just got booted out.
Thank God. Right. I'm not blaming my internet anymore.
No, something went wrong there with the platform. Oh, now the chat's filled up. Now there's chat. I didn't see any chat before. What the hell?
It's. Do you know what? You know why that happened, didn't you? It's because earlier we were dissing Hollywood.
Oh, is that what it was? The
I think it is.
Yeah, okay. I think we're back.
Like, curse you, mundane day.
Yeah. How dare you speak out against us? How dare you talk about creativity? You will be punished.
It was no, we did that earlier, Andy. It's like it's when we was it's when it's because I used the O word, isn't it?
Yeah, or we'll not say it again. We'll not invoke the words. They're hitting the button, but no, stop that descent immediately. Been there, done that. That was earlier on in the stream. That was one of the earlier.
We weren't really dissing it. We were just saying that along with several other franchises, it needs putting on a shelf and it needs leaving for I don't know, the rest of my lifetime.
50 years quite nice. Just leave it. Then somebody can come back and reboot it if they want.
Yeah.
They might have a chance then, but now there's too much bad film.
I want to say
with a lot of the franchises, you know, Star Wars, Star Trek, superhero stuff, like just all on the shelf, close the doors.
As much as I hate to say it, Alien.
Yes, I'm actually getting there. Trying to read through the novels. They're shit.
I worked that after I picked up the first 3 in a charity shop. You know, Alien 3. And it's I've got to be honest, Alien 3 was out of the novels. Alien 3 was the one I enjoyed the most.
No, I'm still trying to get through that omnibus.
Ooh.
And I'm just no interest. It's just the stories were shit. It's just so daft. I'm like, oh god, I'm out.
It's like I think it's like if, like, talking about Star Wars, but I'm not saying bad thing. If you've ever read like A New Hope, the actual, like, the book that George Lucas himself wrote.
I had more or less quite a good expanding universe from Truce of Bakura onwards.
It's the actual like A New Hope written by George Lucas is a stinker. It's so badly written.
That's because he had help with the original trilogy. That's why. He's a terrible writer. His dialogue is shit. He had other people. He had Spielberg and a couple of other directors. That's why the first 3 were good.
I mean, who
because
knew?
he didn't do it on his own. Once he went to the prequels and he's like, I'm Mr. Big fucking Ding Dong.
Yeah.
It's the same as oh god, who did the Spirit after Sin City? Was it Mark Miller?
I think so.
I don't think it was Mark Miller. He seems to be.
He's asking me questions about live action stuff. This is it. I'm no good at live action stuff.
Yeah, but it's based on a
comic.
Yeah, it's based on the da, 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 da. Shite.
Let's have a look. Clive Owen, Mickey Rourke, Bruce Willis, Elijah Wood. Elijah Wood's in Sin City, really?
He was a good. He actually, yeah, actually plays a good
Oh,
role. You know, the serial killer that eats people.
Wow. Obviously, that's before he became famous because I missed him.
No, it was after Frank Miller. Is it? Frank Miller. Sorry, not Mark Miller.
Oh, Frank Miller.
Frank Miller's a twat. Yeah, he's like George Lucas. He thought, oh, I'm the big ding dong. I can write and do everything. And yeah, you saw how that movie turned out. It was done in Sin City. He stole the Sin City style. Did Frank Miller write Sin City? I thought it was...
Frank Miller. Frank Miller is Frank Miller wrote The Dark Knight Returns. Yeah, he did indeed. He did indeed. The Sin City.
Sin City as well, right? Okay. Yeah, because he's
and 300 core.
Oh god, that's. Do you know that's one of them movies you think's good at the start, and then you watch it again, you're like, oh, this is bollocks.
Yeah. Mind you, there are a lot of films like that where you watch them through and it's like, wow, that was really good. Then you
Shiny Lights.
Why did I watch it?
Then you think about it, and I'm not a Zack Snyder fan. But anyway, yeah, we're seeing this other thing as well. People are forgetting stuff. That's quite important. We're seeing people with amnesia and forgetting their lives, and saying herself,
it's like she's really messed up because when she tries to think of her life, it's like a dozen different lives all at once. It's like, is she from here? Is she from there?
And we see those scenes playing out, and you're like, what is this? And then it becomes obvious, once it gets explained, makes sense. But you probably don't get this as well, but the scene where he basically takes Sienna home, is a callback to when he first met Ruka. I think it's about the third girl he's had randomly staying in his house, and he's been totally honourable. That's one thing about Ichigo; he's completely honourable. No funny business. But the father knows, like, I'm not another girl that you're bringing home and having in your cupboard, because he had Ruka in his cupboard for like a month.
I noticed that. It's the way they all went running upstairs to keep an eye on him to see what he was doing. Glasses, ears to the door. It's like I'm like it's kind of like this must be some kind of recurring joke in the series.
Yeah,
like from the way they're acting, this isn't the first time that he's come home with like some mysterious girl.
So basically, when the incident happened with Ruko, she got stuck in the mortal realm in a mortal body, and Ichigo kept her in his cupboard. Just left in the cupboard.
Honourable or not, that is a bit creepy.
Yeah, but she wanted to stay in the cupboard. That's it's the whole insanity of it. And then the family found out that he's busy had a girl as a cupboard
living in his cupboard for the past 6 months. Yeah,
that's one of them. And this has been going on. I can't remember who the other one, but he had another girl like in his cupboard as well for a while.
Yeah. See, I couldn't do that. My cupboard's full of role-playing games. There's no room in any of my cupboards.
I reckon somebody'd ring the police if I had a girl in my cupboard.
No,
but that's stuff that you can get away with in anime because it's just the ridiculousness of it. But yeah, that's it. The family's burnt out at this point. They're like sick of him bringing random girls home and keeping them in his cupboard.
I did wonder if I was kind of like, is he lodging at that place? Because it's never because people who are following the series all automatically know who these people are. I got no idea who they were, and he never really explained it in the context of the film. So,
but you don't want that. You don't want the. This is what an American series would do. Would give you a ton of exposition.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Pop. Hi, little sister number 1, 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Where, like I said, you can follow a story and treat it as a standalone thing. If you've never seen Bleach before, never read the books, you can watch this and still take it as it is. Yes, there's little hints and stuff dropped in, but it's still funny the fact that he brought it home, but when you get the context, then it just
Hmm.
adds another layer. It's
Yeah.
the same with the whole interaction with the Soul Society and so forth. It makes sense, the context and knowing the series just adds that little bit to it, and I enjoy that. You know what I mean? It's called moving the story forward.
I'm gonna say it's nice. It's nice when like a film of a series is made and there's something in there to reward the people who have been following the film. So these little bits here and there that somebody like me who hasn't seen the series wouldn't pick up on.
But it doesn't ruin it for you.
No, 'cause it's kind of like who are these people? They're the people who live in the house that he also lives in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's like whether they're family or he's boarding there and they are someone else's family, doesn't matter to the story.
And the fact that he's like adult now and he's bringing teenage girls home, just
bringing very teenage girls home. Yes.
Yeah, that would ruffle. If I was to start doing that, would ruffle a few feathers as well, and rightly so. Do you know what I mean? Just putting in context.
Knock on the door, flashing blue lights outside.
Yep.
Oh dear, it's waterboard.
I'll have myself in, or join the BBC. One of the two.
God, it's going to
It
politics.
won't be worse. Getting employed by the BBC or going to prison.
So you've got a choice. You've got a choice. You can either go to prison or be a politician. Oh my God, send me to prison.
Oh no, that's not even.
Dartmoor.
That's just throw me off something high.
Dartmoor's fine for me.
Ah, dear. Yeah, and of course the Soul Society. This is something new. They can't deal with it. Oh, 2 new things in the space of one lifetime. We can't cope.
How are we going to cope with this? It's like, yeah, they're just kind of like, what are we going to do about the Valley of Screams? It's like, how are we going to cope with this? They're going to have a lot of meetings. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Typical big organization. Something goes wrong. The first thing they do is they call all the directors in and they have a meeting.
Yeah, and
I
you
am
can tell
wondering.
that the Soul Society,
I am
warriors aren't
I am actually wondering if the Soul Society itself is supposed to be some kind of piss take on the Japanese government, on the Japanese diet. Because
This is one thing we have noticed.
It's the kind of thing they do, because Japan is never happy with what its parliament does.
Well, here we'll swap. They can have Westminster if they want.
Yeah.
Give them something to complain about.
Can't even remember who the bloody prime minister of this country is. That's how much it matters.
Oh God, it's
not Liz Truss anymore.
God, that was about 4 prime ministers ago.
I know. I don't keep up on politics.
Right.
I find.
Was like,
I've got to be quite
we were
honest.
like changing prime ministers every month.
Look, American politics is way more interesting at the moment.
I just can't do it, man. They're all dickheads.
Because it's like the only way it would be more interesting is if they put like merry-go-round music on in the back of it. So here's Donald Trump with his latest thing.
No, we need Jerry Springer back from the dead. I need to get my MVQ level 2 in necromancy, so I can do that. And could you picture Jerry Springer walking up and down like easy?
He wouldn't, yeah, but Jerry Springer would end up being the next president. That's the problem.
And then had a few unicycles out.
Oh God, it's like
we need Jerry Springer and unicycles, and yeah, we might get.
No, I know people by singing the American national anthem to the tune of "Oh Canada."
I couldn't even tell you. Fucking no interest.
Right, it's like it's
Don't do it.
The American national anthem is 56 seconds long.
It's one of the most painful national anthems to listen to.
It's one verse. It's 56 seconds long. The German national anthems is the same one they used like before World War II, but it's had most of the verses that are all about killing people cut out of it.
Should we chuck a second verse out of ours? So
it's like I'm gonna say no, but like, our national anthem's got something like 11 verses in it, and everybody only knows the first one.
Yeah, because why bother? It does its job.
Mm.
We're not like zealots, it's not like we're not the Imperium.
I'm pretty sure the Scottish national anthem has got a verse that is like very, very, very down on the English.
That's Floor of Scotland.
A flower of Scotland, when will we see your likes again? Something, something, the English, the
Or in
bastards.
that, for the two.
Yeah.
Think again, blah blah blah. No.
What a great song. I
We don't need to fight with it. We can just fight with each other. It's the only reason for having.
mean, that's just it. We don't need the rest of the world. It's like
We can just fight within these islands. That's what we've done for like
we
millennia.
we
Not
we
even
can
centuries, millennia, like
we can
thousands of
close
years. That's all we've
we can
done.
close the
Let's
borders
have
up.
duff ups.
We don't need cheap soybeans. Yeah.
It's-
So meanwhile, the soul. I love the fact that it's like, right, Soul Society. What are we gonna do? Let's get the big cannon out.
Yep.
And they're just going to use this humongous, great, magical psychic cannon thing to just blow the Valley of Screams up, even though they don't actually know what it's going to. It's going to cause massive damage to like the Soul Society and like the living world, but that's okay because nobody knows what's going to happen if the two worlds get pulled into each other anyway.
Yeah, but the kind of know that it's not going to be good. But
It's a bit of a mutually assured destruction kind of solution, though, isn't it? It's like if they nuke us, we'll nuke them back, or if we will nuke them first, so they can't nuke us back. It's like, damn, though. It's like,
that's why not?
yeah. But yeah,
But this is you probably once again because you haven't seen this or not familiar with the series, you didn't see the subtle changes between Ichigo and Ruka because she was the teacher, he was the student,
yeah,
and in this moment when he decides, first of all, because he's grown fond of Sienna, he's like he doesn't want her to be left to her fate. And it's whenever I can't even remember their name. They're busy disposable characters. That's the only disappointing thing about this. The antagonists are like purely disposable.
yeah.
But I feel like there's more going on in the story than they're just a plot device. The whole idea is about the ebb and flow of the universe and the let us know another bit of folklore.
I would say at no time watching this did it feel like there was like a huge threat hanging over the main characters. It's like there was no doubt that the good guys were going to win and they were all going to survive it.
And do you know what? I'm fine with that because this wasn't about that. And I think it was once again with the superhero stuff, like the whole universe, multiverse world's going to end every 5 minutes.
Oh, not again.
Edge, blah, blah, blah. This is more about unfolding another bit of lore. Here's another bit of this universe.
Yeah.
Think of Star Trek, the motion picture.
Yes.
There wasn't really a threat there with the alien. I know it's been years since I've seen it.
Vija. Yeah, because it's kind of like
about them being the whole point of that movie was for Kirk and Co. to be exposed to another wonder of the universe. That's what the whole movie was leading towards.
Yeah, I think that I have problems with films like that. It's like, right, I'm going to use the first Avengers. I'm going to use the first Avengers End War or whatever it was called as my. It's like when Thanos snapped his fingers and deleted literally like half of every living race in the universe. You knew that by the end of the next film it would have no effect.
But that's been comic books even before they became movies.
Yeah.
How many times have they killed Batman or Night's End Batman? When he got his back broken by Bane.
Yeah.
The word And they did that out of spite as well because they're like, why didn't Batman kill people? So they brought in John Valley just to let people see what it would be like. So they could, and obviously they'll go, oh, this is horrible, blah. People are so basic. Aren't they? Fucking people went, I want this, I don't want it now. Like people are. That's why I don't talk to many folks outside of my little bubble. What was the other one? What do you call that? Third encounters. Steven Spielberg one is.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, Encounters of the Third Kind. Right. There was no danger in that. It was just an unveiling of mystery.
Yeah.
That's what I feel this movie is. It's not about. This has always happened. But because the interference of this clan, it's went slightly off to the left. And it just needs to be re-brought back into balance. But by the manifestation of saying this normally happens anyway, it's brief, and then she dissipates again, and the world, everything carries on. But their plans by interfering and bringing her into the mortal realm, and her getting bonded with Ichiko, always meant he was going to save her. Because when he told them, oh, now you've given her human feelings and made her aware she's going to suffer through this process.
She was, he could feel it. She was scared. She laughs. She cries.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she's a living creature and I'm going to, it's just the kind of, it's like, it's like the Valley of Screams, everything's going wrong. What are we going to do? Yeah, let's blow it up.
Yep.
It's just kind of like they're not even going to try to solve the problem. They're just going to eradicate it.
Yeah, without fully knowing, But then again, that's this is where Ichigo is almost like a catalyst for change. There's one thing about tradition and fine tradition and stuff, but at the same time, when you encounter something out there, that's what you need. Innovators, radical thinkers, because the system is fine for the day-to-day, but the system isn't everything. When something radical comes in, but you can't have everything radical every day either. You need a system because you need the day-to-day. Everyone needs a function.
And Ichiko is the person who's prepared to look at the system and give it a push in push in the right or wrong direction, depending what it needs.
But he's also like throughout the series as well. He hasn't just leaving his body.
Yeah,
that's part of the day-to-day. You don't do that.
I kind of got that was a running joke through the entire series.
Yeah.
That every time he leaves his body to do Shinigami stuff, he comes back and like an ambulance is carrying him off.
Yeah, that's because he still hasn't twigged on about that. He just reacts to the immediate. And that's where the stoicism and the rigidness and the regimental, dispassionate is important, because it's all about maintaining the universe as it goes on. But where someone like Ichigo's valuable is when it's all going to go wrong, and the status quo doesn't have the ability to deal with it. And that's an allegory for life. And once again, it's very Japanese in terms of yin and yang.
I like the bit where I've got no chance of remembering her name. Rukia, yeah. And when she bursts into the boardroom to tell them that they found a way to get into the valley. They found a way to. It's like Ichigo's found a way to get into the valley, into the Valley of Screams. How dare you disturb our meeting? Go and stand outside. It's that is so Japanese. It is so Japanese. It's kind of like no, you must listen to me. Punish me afterwards, but
yeah, and I think that's an internal. This is. I think we've talked about this before. Anime is the Japanese people's method of examining their own philosophy or the right and wrongs of it, but without directly criticizing. It's a third party. It's a vehicle to do it.
We could do with something like that in this country that isn't satire.
We used to have comedy. But comedy's illegal now.
Doesn't the word comedy rank up there with the O word? Aren't we just going to get in trouble for mentioning this?
Probably, yeah.
Right,
That's it. If we could cut off again, folks, that's what happened. We've
right.
committed blasphemies on.
Tangent number 97.
This is the internet safety bills come in. We're actually getting monitored.
Tangent alert. Tangent number 97 incoming. The problem with comedy these days is you are not allowed to offend anyone.
So it's therefore not comedy.
Comedy has to be perfectly neutral. In the same way that party political broadcasts are, which is about as funny as comedy is these days.
Yeah, which I have no interest.
Which makes me, but in it's kind of like this. This is relevant to the subject because in Japan you are allowed to satire anyone you want to, be it the government, be it an individual person, be it your mother, and it's kind of like I think something like that is kind of like it's necessary.
Of course, you need right. No, and this is where everything's all out of balance. You can't rip up society every day and everything be chaos. Or we just go back to living in caves and beating each other over the head with rocks and eating each other. Society needs to function, but you also need to examine it without ripping it apart every time. And that's where everything now is just, there is no balance. And this film's shown that, that Ichigo isn't always right. It's most of the time, actually, he's just a bit of a, I wouldn't say buffoon, but he's just not, his personality, he wouldn't be a soul reaper. He wouldn't be part of the soul society. There's a reason they're like almost groomed from birth, and that's their destiny. Like, they don't take part in normal human society. And I think I don't know, like I said, because I've only read like the first 9 chapters, 9 books.
So
I don't know how much more they explore it. I'd say they probably do. When they were human, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's a bit I'm not didn't get covered. Or have a soul society transcended humanity and they just purely exist in that world? I don't know because I haven't read that part of the anime, the manga. So that's a question I've still don't know the answer to. I'll have to get back to this sometime. It's another one on the list.
Looks like what's it? The last I don't know. The last volume was released in 2018, and there hasn't been one since. So I'm guessing the story's finished.
Yeah, I might have done it. That's one thing I like about these anyway. They don't keep. They might be long, but they still bring them to an end.
Yeah.
At a certain point, they sort of know when to do it.
What annoys me is when they animate something that's only got 5 or 6 volumes of manga, because without a doubt, in the length of a season, they will use all the material up, and then you've got to wait for the person who's writing the manga to create like 6 more volumes before they release the next series.
That's silly. No, nothing's perfect. And of course, the rush. Here's the hot property. Let's get it out there.
But that's okay, because it's like the longest I've waited for a sequel series is 16 years. It was worth
Vampire
it.
Hunter D.
Pardon?
Was that Vampire Hunter D?
Even worse. Even worse. It's an anime based on a graphic novel series about a guy who's basically a merchant, buys stuff and sells it somewhere else.
Okay.
He's accompanied by an ancient god while he's doing it, but yeah. It's not horror, otherwise it'd be on the list.
I'm not starting a second channel. I've enough to do.
Not horrific.
bloody busy. I would need 27 hours in a day.
I'm looking forward to the third volume, by the way.
Oh, cool. It's yeah,
En-
the submission's right now.
Enjoyed the first one, enjoyed the second one. Looking forward to enjoying the third one.
I got a real positive vibe with the second one.
Hmm.
Honestly, there's an energy with the people that submitted. It's like the word got out with the first one.
Yeah.
People weren't too sure, and then the second one, everyone was on board and knew exactly what I was looking for.
I've got.
So-
I'm going to be honest. This might be a bit controversial. Volume 2 is slightly better than Volume 1.
I would agree. Because it's not the volume one's bad. I'm really happy, you know.
No, I really enjoyed Volume 1, but it's
But I
just
see
kind
the
of like
progression. I actually
it's
see
kind
the
of like
progression between two volumes, and
yeah.
I'm excited now to see how Volume 3 is going to turn out. What I'm going to get.
Volume 2 just seems like how can I put it in the word? Volume 2 just seems like not the. It's like Volume 1. Volume 1 hit the nail right on the head. It knocked the ball out of the ballpark. Volume 2 is just kind of like it's hit the nail a bit harder. It's hit the ball a bit further.
Wasn't there a different energy about it?
Mm.
Can you feel it with the stories?
Yeah.
We were trying to discuss this last night, and I didn't want to say, you know, I don't want to sound contrived, and I didn't want to be like, oh well, yeah, Volume 1's okay, you know, but because I was really happy with Volume 1 the way it turned out, and it got the stories, and they're all different. It wasn't 10 haunted house stories, and that. But Volume 2, there's excuse me, I really felt like people were invested.
It's like it is. It's like you say. It's like they knew exactly what they needed to come out with,
and that's why I took on the extra stories as well.
They delivered. There's not a bad story in there.
And even the ones that said no to were good stories, but they just didn't, you know, already had. I already had the cryptid, so I was getting a duplicate. So I'd already decided on the one I wanted. Or just, you know, at that point, I'd already got 90% of it. It came in a couple came in last minute. I'd already had most of the book put together because I wasn't just leaving it all the last minute to do. I've been editing as the submissions got in, sort of reading them on value, you know, knowing what I want.
Yeah.
But then, so I did have to say no this time. If you only had to say no to, I think it's one or two the first time, because it just didn't fit with the vibe. But this time I had to say no to a couple. But they weren't bad stories either. You know, people that were sending them in.
It's like I think it's nice now that news is getting out. More people are actually wanting to submit. But what happens if you come to do like you come to like get to the short list for 3 and you've got like 30 a stack of 30 stories? Will the books get bigger?
They can't get too big because then it's, you know, I want them to still be consistent in size. Sorry, something's went down the back of my throat.
Say you get that, Colin.
No, I've got like a feather in the back of my throat or something.
Oh damn!
So just tickling me there. I want them to stay a consistent size. You know, I want it to be a series. I don't want like huge volume, tiny volume, huge volume. Don't mind if they're a wee bit thicker, but I want them lined up on the shelf. I've got the first 10 volumes plotted out. What I want.
Yeah.
So it's a list. I've already started doing the graphics and stuff and all, and the covers.
And that's
like first 5.
I saw on the announcement on your channel what the title is going to be. But if people want to find out, they'll have to go and look themselves.
Well, it's already I've already put the submissions out, so it's 3 is going to be serial killers. I've already put out the request for submissions.
I think it's going to be. I think there's going to be another batch of great stories. I really do.
But there's nothing, you know what I mean? I can do serial killers too at a later volume. Obviously, if people submit the other places, and that's fair enough. But I want to mix as well. I don't want just to, you know, I've got my regular authors of people involved with the God, this turned into an interview. I've been doing loads of interviews as well trying to explain this. But I've got my regular authors. I've got people who've contributed to the show for years. They're always going to be there because they've been with me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect
But I'm
sense.
always going to make a point to bring new
It's
people
like
in.
it's a group of people you know. It's a group of people like you know their work. You know their work is consistent.
Yeah, but
It's
most
like
importantly, they've already given stories in to the Horrific Tales segment.
Wow. Yeah,
And
it's like it's like they can, it's like they're like a solid backbone.
Yep.
That you can apply other people's stories to.
But there's also room to bring in new people because not everybody writes every theme.
Yeah.
So not everyone's going to do each of the themes. You know, it mightn't be in their wheelhouse, and that's fair enough. But then that's room for someone new to come in and get involved with the channel, and then things progress. That someone else comes on the show, maybe sits and does a movie review now and again. A guy I was talking to last year, had him on the show. Did a workshop with the Horror Writers Association on becoming a reviewer. So I had a few of them guys on. I did a review with one of them, Clay. I'm going on his channel next month, which is like a week and a half away. So
God, geez, wow.
Next month, flip's like a couple of weeks away. I'm going to his show and he's coming back on again. So
well, I'll have to make a note.
There's somebody that haven't seen in a year.
Hmm.
People popped up like Justine. I haven't seen her. Was she on last year? Or has it been a year and a half? Haven't seen her. Gary. Haven't seen him in about 2 years. He last submitted to the show. Do you know what I mean? So there's people up that haven't seen in years. And then Bruce, he's brand new. Never met him before in my life, and he submitted. But because Demi had been on, he knows Demi, and then that's how word spread out that way. So that's the way it works. You know, there's always room to have, you know, the same, you know, regular people on, but it's not always going to be. You might recognize a few names, but then you're going to get new people as well. And that's once again, that refreshes. That means I don't fall into the mindset of, oh, here's what I'm comfortable with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because comfort in a genre is a dangerous thing because you can get stuck in a rut, and it's like this is my thing and only this thing.
Yep. So I wanted to be refreshed. I want every volume that comes out to be, and this is the reviewer in me too, because I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
does that make sense? Because we've been doing this for like ages.
In a way, it would be a lot easier just to have 10 volumes of ghost stories. But where's that lack of variety? People may only buy the first couple, and then it's like, oh, it's just more ghost stories. I like the way that like every single volume is like a different subject, a slightly different take on horror. I'm looking forward to reading the next one. I really am.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the emails to start coming in now, if that makes sense. You know, I put it out there, and yeah, I'll be when I get the first email, because the last time it was not even 2 days.
Wow.
If that makes sense. Well, yeah, it wasn't even 2 days. I got the first submission. So somebody had a story ready to go. I'm like, bloody hell, there we go.
But that's just it. It's like I don't write stories, but I write, like, I sketch out adventures for like the role playing games I play. I've got notebooks and notebooks and notebooks full of bits and pieces that I've written down that I can just chuck together and throw into a game and start running it. It's what we do, isn't it?
But it wouldn't take much. I don't know why somebody hasn't thought of novelizing some adventures that have happened.
I think, right. Going back to anime, oddly enough, the closest thing that has come to that is an anime called Record of the Lodos War, which is the guy who directed it. It's based on the tabletop adventures from like the original red box Dungeons and Dragons set.
Oh,
and it's like,
what am I talking about? Raymond D. Feist. The Rift War series was based on a role playing game. He wrote the role playing game first.
Wow.
And then the whole Rift War series was based off that.
I did not know that.
There's 27 books.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
I used to own them all. I was a friend at work.
It's
Let
like,
me one of them.
yeah.
He
Why
let
are
me
there
a
so,
magician and set the Darkness of Sethin on. And then that was me. I was hooked.
why is it whenever you find something that's quite interesting, you go, oh, this looks interesting. How many volumes are there?
Yeah,
Oh. Oh. Happens every time.
yeah, but that's it's usually. I've noticed this with anime that it's the long-standing ones. You know, they've built up the reputation,
Yeah.
so then it's time to adapt. We've seen what happens when they're done too early.
Yes, we have far too much.
So that's I don't mind that. It makes sense then to have something that's 74 volumes long. Oh, let's make a couple of movies out of it now that it's gone on that. So, or if it's come to its natural conclusion, right now we can do it because we know how it all ends. Why
Now we
not?
can,
That makes
yep,
sense.
now we can concentrate on. Unlike what was it? Elfen Light, where the ending of the anime is completely different to the ending of the manga because the manga was still running when they made the anime, which runs to the conclusion of the story.
Yeah, but it didn't conclude. We're just sort of left hanging.
It pretty much does the same thing in the anime, but in a different way. But
Because
they
we
did
still
that.
didn't find out.
They did that with an anime that finished last year. It's an anime based on a series of books. They completely changed the ending of the anime to step it up. People have complained about it, of course.
Yeah, so this is just I like the idea of tried and tested. Let the anime run for so many volumes, or better still, let it do a complete run, then look at adapting it. Because then you know what the story is, and then if you use fan feedback from the manga where the story worked, where it didn't work, and sort of get an idea,
just tweak
have
it
the
a little bit. Yeah.
adaptation, fix a few things. Why not?
That's a steep and slippery
Don't
slope,
go,
though, because a lot of people don't like it when you change things.
but they also don't like it when the way it is. Like I said, just a few little bits here and there. Oh, really didn't like. If I was a general consensus, we didn't like the way this character went. Okay, then slightly change like their personality, but not major plot points. But I don't know. It'll be what it'll be. As long as they don't go American.
Oh God.
As long as they don't, I think they've pulled back from the brink just in time with the localizers. I think that was a shot across the bow of what things could turn out like, and I think they wisely step back from that precipice.
Yeah, because it's like it's not just it was mostly because of the streaming channels in America, but a lot of anime companies do produce they do produce their own subs and their own dubs. Because it's like normally now if you go out there and buy an anime on DVD or Blu-ray, it includes both the subbed and the dubbed version.
Yeah, because I was the same. I used to buy even back in the day, like I said, Macros Plus, Akira. Oh God, what else? The other two. Why is it only those two I remember from back in the day? And I used to have loads.
Because they're both classics.
Yeah, Hell's Moving Castle, Spirited Away. Those ones. Yeah, you always have the option.
Yeah.
To flip in the DVD menu.
Yeah, see, it's like the Studio Ghibli made the dubbed version of Laputa because the Japanese airline JAL wanted to show it to people as they flew to Japan, and that's one of the reasons that like dubs became like mainstream. Bit of kid's story, I know.
Oh, I suppose. But yeah, this was basically there's not much, as you said, there's no great cliffhanger, there's no twist. It just plays out as we expect it to, this story.
I don't know why I was expecting more tension.
I don't think it was about that.
It's like
It's about the characters and the
yeah, it's like
characters growing a bit more.
the first half, like the first half was character development. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I came into this blind, don't know anything about Bleach. I learned who Ichigo was. I learned who Rukia is. I learned about Senna. I learned about the difference between like the regular world and the Soul Sanctum. I learned about the characters there. I learned about the differences between like let's call it culture, like the difference between the cultures.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why. But it's like when the band clan arrived, when the protagonists arrived, I don't know why, but I just expect, because it had been like so kind of like light comedy so far. I just kind of expected the tension to ramp up a little bit. This is just me. This is just me feeding my expectations into the movie.
The end battle scene was a bit sort of cartoony in that, and
yeah,
but then it also got slapped about a bit previously.
Yeah, because it's like
when
when
everybody knows, and then this was them sort of rallying behind Ichigo and swallowing a bit of their pride.
Yeah, because it was kind of weird that they like the I think that's one of the things. I think it's the fact that like the protagonists beat them so solidly the first time they fought, and in the second battle it was kind of like, haha, none of you stand any chance, and none of them stood any chance.
It was
that snake
bloody
whip,
nose,
though,
they got the first time, made them go away and think. And then understand Ichigo's value. That's what the whole story is about. This has been the whole theme.
Yeah,
of them having to understand that they aren't the be all and end all, and they can.
I liked before the last battle when the captains all appeared to say they were going to help. They were going to help go in there, and they were going to help save Senna. I like the bit where that they're all sitting in the room, and Rukia bursts in and she's like, I apologize, I'm sorry for disturbing you. Why are you disturbing us? Get out. And he's like Ichigo's gone to save Senna. He's find a way into the Valley of Screams. We need to like mobilize the troops to help him. No, none of them are going to help you. I forbid it. And they all totally helped.
Mm-hmm.
See, that was kind of like it's like that. That was the moment when everything seemed to pull together for me. Because it was literally like there was all these people on one side in the Soul Sanctum, and there was literally only like Ichigo, Rukia, and Senna for part of it in the living world.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved the way it all kind of pulled together. But I wasn't expecting the battle to be as flashy or as quick as that.
Yeah, but the point of the story was, again, for their long term. The point of the story was them all pulling together. It was an unknown. That never happens. And the fact that Ichigo was still prepared to put himself, still try, it sort of shamed them a bit.
Yeah.
So when they had to swallow pride and then understanding when the work is won, and it's about this whole conflict between them and Ichigo and not accepting him. So it's this moment of, right, accept that he's on the same side as him, trying to do the same thing.
So it
then
almost
it falls into place.
It almost feels as if the story is less about the Valley of Screams and Senna and the Blanks and like the band clan, and it's more about the bond between Ichigo and the rest of the Soul Reapers.
Yeah, and that's because their story. Senna's only for this. There'll never be another Senna again.
Ooh,
she was that particular manifestation. There'll never be another her.
Or will there? Because I remember the ending.
But you see, that was her particular coming together. But that's that's going to fade. But the enduring story is Ichigo in the Soul Society, and basically how he's still balancing out being a human and part of this world. That's the story it's going to carry on. It'd be funny if we get the second one. We'll spin the wheel.
What happens next?
Let's carry on the conversation in 2 weeks, shall we?
Yes.
But yeah, you could see that Ichigo was touched by this whole thing. Like it had a profound effect on him. And that's the most emotion we've seen out of him. His sort of bravado he puts on was challenged. Because it wasn't romantic. That's what I like as well. I'm bored with the what do you call it, the love interest and all that kind of stuff. It's never been romantic with Ichigo. That's what I like about stories.
He does come
But
across as if he hasn't got a romantic bone in his body.
yeah, he's just he might have at one point, but he's aware of this world, so it's just consumed him. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How would he have a relationship?
Jane knows what comes after.
Yeah, and what he's part of. So that's what this whole story's been. Him accepting this life that it was never meant for him. It was just by a chance encounter, a rogue hollow, and it was once again him saving his family. It was one of his sisters. Yeah, when Sienna realizes that her still exists and she wasn't carrying out her natural path, was causing this. And when she decides to do that, that's the bit that really got him. But the same thing Ichigo's per to do. At the end of it, doesn't matter how annoying both of them are, because Ichigo in his own sense is annoying. Because he's still got that sort of flash bravado about him, still leaves his body lying everywhere, blah, blah, blah. Brings girls home to stay in his cupboard on a regular basis. But then Senna, at the same time, she's irritating, always pushing boundaries and that, but when it comes down to it, she realizes what's more important, and then she fulfills her function.
I enjoyed the fight between Ichigo and the boss of the band, but it ended exactly as I thought it was going to.
Oh yeah, there's no surprises here, but I don't think that's what I think the story was more concentrated, like the aftermath, if that makes sense. Like, it was the most poignant part of the story was after the shadow of Screams is dissipated and everything goes back to normal, but not quite, because the residue of Sienna is still there, and I think that's what they were trying to. It's enough, like I said, Star Trek the motion picture.
Yeah,
they experience a wonder of the universe that they normally don't, because if everything was just going normally, they wouldn't have noticed it. But because they were brought in this, they've all been profoundly affected by this.
Yeah,
and they now know a bit more about balance in the world and accept. You know, what I mean, they're all a bit bigger because of it, and you feel that at the end.
I thought the part where after they'd closed, like after they dissipated all the blanks and like the Valley of Screams had dissipated, I think the scene after that that choked me a little bit. The bit where he's carrying her on his back and he takes her to the graveyard and says, it's like, which one's your family's grave? The fourth one from the end. And he's like, did I exist in this world? Is my name there? And he says yes. But there's only two names. There's only two names on the grave, and neither of them is hers.
Yeah,
I was like, damn.
That's what I mean. That's what they were building. This wasn't about the battle, the antagonist. This was just a vehicle that for Ichigo to grow as a person, for people in the Soul Society to grow as people, to experience about the universe. That's what this was about, and it's deeper than what you would expect. Even with the flashy stuff, there's actually a deeper story here, a more emotional story, and I enjoyed it. I don't need everything to be all neatly wrapped up in a bow, or
I enjoyed it.
Need a cliffhanger.
I'd say it can't be neatly wrapped up, is it? Because there's like 3-4 more movies and another.
Yeah, but this is always ongoing. This is the world.
Episodes.
What's the horror movie? Man in Black.
Oh,
there's always a virus. There's always a alien invasion. There's always something about the wipe out this world. But the only reason people can go about their business is they don't know about it.
Don't know about it.
You know, that's this is life as a Soul Reaper. You're always doing this, but just the fact that they got to experience something none of them ever thought they would. None of them knew what to do. And like even the keto cannon just turns to gloop. Like it did nothing.
What was that thing? What the hell did it fire? Besides
psychic energy, they're all putting spells and energy and soul energy into it. Because that's this is the thing. It's like getting a more powerful battery. Every Soul Reaper has soul energy, and that's what powers them. And it's once again like Ichigo. Why he has a humongous fuck off sword is because he has massive amounts of soul energy naturally and not developed. People can develop more soul energy as they train and learn their craft. And that's what it is. They're basically, you can only pour so much or you get depleted.
But what?
Like your life force.
But why, when it hit the Valley of Screams, did it look like wallpaper paste dripping through the ceiling?
It was just around. I don't know. That was the.
That was kind of like, why?
I think because Sienna did what she did, so it didn't work.
Yeah.
If the Valley of Screams had it maintained and didn't dissipate,
Yeah.
then the keto cannon would have worked, and then boom, whatever.
Oh, I
would
don't know,
happen.
because they were like, it destroyed the Valley of Screams. It was like, no, we've passed the critical threshold. The spheres are still going to collide.
Yeah, but I don't know. Honestly, it's one of them. I think the gloopy it didn't work. Basically,
Mm.
it didn't work, and it's almost like it shouldn't have. It was a bit of a random way to show it.
It was the the MacGuffin. The blanks are all exploding. The force of their explosions is pushing the worlds back into their normal places. I was lucky.
No, but the point was that because Ichigo had a bond with Senna,
Mm.
she was about to submit completely to the process. She was still fighting, and then she was about to give up.
Yeah, but
It
she
was him once again. It's not about the shiny. It was about the human.
I love the part where she basically tells him that it's like right, she's going to sacrifice herself to save the world because it's the world he lives in.
Mm-hmm.
There's noble sacrifice. There's nothing better.
Yeah, and that's what it's down to. You know, it's if they had fired the cannon sooner, would have worked. Yeah, and the other effect would have happened. But that's by the by. That wasn't what this story's about. It's about experiencing everyone just growing a bit inside because they've been touched by a wonder of the universe. Like I said, I enjoyed it. There's a few cheesy bits. Some of the battle scenes, but I don't think it wasn't focused on the battle scenes. They were just a mechanic.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind.
Because it's like the story. The story was more important.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is, I like the Band Clan. There were some interesting characters in there. It's just a shame we'll never learn. But as far as we know, we never learn anything else about them because they were just like the protagonists for this.
Yeah.
That snake whip was awesome, though.
Yeah. It's one of them ones. If they had been built up over time, but they weren't. It was just purely for the story, you know.
Yeah, because I'm going to say it's like in a series, the main protagonist normally appears in the first episode.
Mm-hmm. But that's not what this series is about. It's Ichigo's journey and encountering this world and the different wonders in it.
Yeah,
that's kind of the ongoing theme.
I'm going to have to check more of it out.
I like it, honestly. As a series, I did enjoy it, and actually the live action one, because that's where I first heard about Bleach, was the live action one. I just randomly watched it one night, and it got me intrigued, and they did a decent job. And when you read the anime, actually, it's pretty close. Just to squeeze too much of it in, if that makes sense, into a movie.
Yeah,
but I think these movies are going to be little snapshots of the universe. And I can live with that. I can.
I say they all. What's it? Looking them up. Like an hour and a half.
And Ichigo isn't. He's not a nerd. He's not a jock. He's not. You know, he's just an ordinary person. He happens to actually love his family. He's not a bad person or anything else. He just happens to be drawn to this world. So. I like his character because
so he's protecting the people he cares for.
Yeah, which is normal.
I can't argue with that.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Right, shall we spin the wheel?
Oh my God! Let's spin the wheel and see what we get next.
Let's see what.
Oh, look at all those, and the list's not getting any shorter.
No, it's not. And I've added the Godzilla ones, which I meant to add before. There's 3 Godzilla animes, horror ones.
Oh, good grief.
Right, shall we?
It's after you.
3, 2, 1. Boink. What have we got? What have we got? What have we got? Oh! What are the chances?
Fixed.
What are the... I thought we'd go back to hell, girl. Oh, what are
Right
the
then.
chances?
Oh my god. Well, we might as well just keep going then. Just do
I
a
guess
live review of
we're,
it. A live review of it while we watch it. We've got time. It's not 1
yeah,
o'clock
let's
yet.
just do a watch party, eh? Who needs sleep? Boink. What are the chances? Yeah, I know in like 1 in 40 or something, whatever this is, but still.
That's okay. I enjoyed the first one. Let's go and see if I enjoyed the second one.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Yeah, there you go. We're doing more bleaching. That's brilliant. I thought we were going to go back to Hell Girl. I was like, oh.
And that's what I was thought. I was like, oh, it's going past Hell Girl. What's next? You know,
All right then. Okay, so we're back to Bleach.
That's all right. Who knows? Next time we do this, we might get the third Bleach movie. With a strange feeling we will.
That would be a fix. That would be. That's a good thing about doing this live, isn't it? There's no questions.
Oh, Wicked City's on the list.
Hmm?
I've just noticed Wicked City is on the list. Wicked City is the Western slightly cut version of Demon City Shinjuku.
Is it better or worse?
It's about the same, actually, to be quite honest.
Oh dear.
I think we should leave it there because it's classed as a different version.
Okay. Well, we'll it's one of them ones. It's like putting the bullet in the chamber, isn't it? Going.
It's Russian roulette, but we know it's going to go badly.
We're not, like I said, we're not loading over.
No. So some of the horrors that were released as the first anime to come into this country, they should just be buried in soft peat and forgotten about.
Well, it's all part of the fun. Do you know what? Sometimes it's fun just to riff on a terrible movie or series. That's actually more fun than you go through the pain, but just to absolutely unload on it.
I am never watching Overfiend. If you do Overfiend, you're on your own. God no.
We keep mentioning it. I feel like it's my destiny to find it.
It's probably on the site we're using. I mean, everything seems to be.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed I've been because I watch anime, like I watch a couple of episodes something pretty much every day. I've been watching and they're starting to add some of the older stuff to the site. So it's almost like all the various anime and things that we lost when Anigogo went down, like the back catalogue. It seems like it's slowly being uploaded again.
Cool.
Which pleases me.
Yeah, well, if studios had stopped dicking about, we wouldn't have to do this, but yeah, that's good. We need it. There's loads of old stuff, especially when that much crap's being produced today.
Yeah.
Let's go back and do random weird stuff. It's all good, but yeah, this will be a never-ending list. It'll always.
I'm gonna say for everyone we take out, we seem to find another one to put into it.
And then to bring out something new, like Halloween, we're stuffed. This is going to be like the wheel's going to get bigger. But anyway, there you go. Lee, thanks very much, mate. As always,
always a pleasure. I enjoyed this one.
A lot of fun, and it's good to just, like I said, go over and talk and have a chat and a laugh. But there you go, folks. We'll be back 2 weeks' time for this, and until next time, keep up to date with the channel, do the typical things, and remember to keep it creepy, keep it horrific.